Good evening, friends at the Mouseland Gala. I'm calling in from the West Coast and I wish I could be there in person to shake your hand. Bonsoir, je m'appelle Tanille Johnston et je suis ravie d'être ici. Well, virtually at least. I'm from Klamatau, also known as Campbell River. I'm a proud Liquesto woman, a working mom, a registered social worker, and a city councilor. I grew up in a working class family and I currently live on Indian Reserve 12, an area we call Quinsam. I've spent my life on the front lines, making life better for my community and for the most vulnerable, which is why I'm running for leader of the NDP, because I believe it's time for a renaissance of the working class, a real one, the kind where the quality of life for the average person finally goes up instead of down. We're overdue for a renewal of social democracy. Social democracy looks like a table set for everyone, where no one leaves hungry, and there's always room for one more. It feels like the warmth of shared laughter and the security of knowing that your government has your back. It sounds like a spirited debate in a community hall in solidarity and respect. And it tastes like fresh bread broken together and made from the hands of many and shared without hesitation. Social democracy means putting decision-making power back into the hands of the people and measuring progress not by GDP, but by the well-being and the equal opportunity available to everyone in this country. Our party was founded on these values, and it's time we lived up to them. That's why my first step as leader is to make the NDP free to join. We are the people's party, and we need to start walking the talk. We need to start opening our doors to anyone that wants to join. A $10 membership fee may not sound like much to some, but to so many we represent, it's a barrier to entry. So let's tear it down. Now, building a social democratic movement takes more than just words. It's about actions. We first need more leverage and our party's status back. Then the real work begins. We'll make life more affordable by closing the wealth gap and tackling the cost of living crisis. We'll concentrate our efforts on putting a stop to the corporate greed that's driving up prices, taking apart the concentration of wealth, power, and data in big telecom and big grocers. We'll put an end to corporate landlords and put a cap on rental increases, which means corporations can no longer hoard real estate while people are forced to sleep in tents, cars, or on the street. We'll establish a national housing authority and build homes people can actually afford to live in. We'll say au revoir to fossil fuel subsidies and redirect that $18 billion to building a future where our kids can breathe easy, literally. And while we're at it, we'll finish what the Liberals never started, democratic reform, and bring back the per vote subsidy, ending an era of politicians being propped up by corporate donations. Social democracy means having a proportional voting system where our politics reflect the will of the people. And that means making every vote count. Friends, the harm done to our society through the erosion of our social democracy is clear, and it exists in the daily struggles of the working class. Every day I hear from people barely hanging on, working full time, and still visiting the food bank. Young people giving up on home ownership, starting a family, or going to post-secondary education. Students cutting pills or not picking up their prescriptions at all. It's wrong, and it doesn't have to be this way. My vision is for a Canada where everyone can have the medical attention and social supports they need, where you can go to school without accumulating a mountain of debt, and where people can afford to live a decent life. That's what I'm fighting for. And that's what this campaign is all about. Rebuilding trust, growing our movement, and bringing power back to the people. Which brings me to the Mouseland story. Tonight is about celebrating the spirit of that little mouse who stood up and said, "Pourquoi est-ce qu'on vote? Toujours pour le chat." Why are we always voting for cats? Well, friends, the mice are organizing. Because only when we work together can we build the momentum needed for a renaissance of the working class. Because only when we work together can we win the next election. This time next year, I hope to be there in person with you all, perhaps as the new leader of the NDP. I hope you'll support me, and together let's build an NDP that's bold, that's progressive, and impossible to ignore. Gilakas'la, merci, and thank you for believing in our movement, in a better future, and proving that one small mouse can change the world. Have a wonderful night. Halakesla, and let's make history together.